Sai Satcharitra, Chapter 4. In the last chapter, I described the circumstances which led me to write the Sai Satcharitra. Let me now describe the first advent of Sai Baba in Shirdi with Baba's grace. Mission of the Saints. Lord Krishna says the Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 4, 7-8. Whenever there is a decay of dharma, righteousness, and ascendancy of unrighteousness, I manifest myself for the protection of the victorious, the destruction of the vicious, and for the establishment of righteousness. I thus manifest myself of age after age. This is the mission of God and saints. Saints are His representatives and appear here at appropriate times and help in their own way to fulfill that mission. For instance, when spiritual preceptors are humiliated, when nobody cares for religious instructions, when everybody thinks himself very learned, and when people begin to partake of forbidden food and intoxicating drinks, when under the cloak of religion people indulge in malpractices, when people belonging to different sects fight among themselves, the orthodox forget their religious practices within yogis, neglect their meditation, when people begin to think that wealthy progeny and wife are their sole concern and thus turn away from the true path of salvation, then saints appear and try to set matters right by their words and action. They serve us as beacon lights and show us the right path for us to follow. In this way, many saints, Nivritri, Jnandev, Muktabai, Namdev, Eknath, Tukaram, Narhari, Sajan, Kasai, Ramdas, and various others appeared at various times to show the right path. And Sai Baba also arrived on earth with the same mission. Shirdi, a holy place of pilgrimage. The banks of the Godavari river in Ahmednagar district are very fortunate, for they gave birth and refuge to many a saint, the most prominent amongst them being Jnaneshwar. Shirdi also falls in the Ahmednagar district. It is after crossing Godavari river at Kopargaon that one reaches Shirdi. When you travel another 9 miles, you come to Nimgaon, from where Shirdi is visible. Shirdi is as famous as other holy places like Gangapur on the banks of the Krishna river. Just as the devotee Damaji flourished in and blessed Mangalveda near Pandharpur, as Samarth Ramdas blessed Sajangad, and just as Sri Narsimha Saraswati elevated Saraswati Wadi, Sainath flourished at Shirdi and blessed it. Baba's personality. It is on account of Sai Baba that Shirdi grew into importance. Let us see what sort of personage Sai Baba was. He had conquered this samsara, worldly existence, which is very difficult to cross. Peace or mental calm was his ornament, and he was the repository of wisdom. He was the home of Vaishnav devotees and was very liberal, like Karnan. He had no love for perishable things and always engrossed in self-realization, which was his sole concern. He felt no pleasure in the things of this world or the world beyond. His heart was as clear as clean mirror, and his speech always rained nectar. The rich or poor were the same to him. He did not know or care about honor or dishonor. He was the Lord of all blessings. He spoke freely, interacted with everyone, saw the acting and dances of North girls, and listened to ghazal songs. Yet, he did not swerve an inch of samadhi, mental equilibrium. The name of Allah was always on his lips, and while the world awoke, he slept. And while the world slept, he was vigilant. His inside was as calm as the deep sea. His ashram could not be determined, and nor could his actions be determined with certainty. And though he lived in one place, he knew all the transactions that took place in the world. His darbar, the royal court, was imposing. He told hundreds of stories daily, and yet he did not break his vow of silence. He always leaned against the wall in the masjid and walked in the morning, noon, and evening towards the Lendi and Chowdi. He abided in the self at all times. Though an enlightened soul, He acted like the normal human being. He was meek, humble, and pleased everyone. Such was Sai Baba, and the soil of Shirdi was trodden by Sai Baba's feet. It attained extraordinary importance. Just as Naneshwar had elevated Alandi and Eknath elevated Pathan, Sai Baba elevated Shirdi. Blessed are the grass and stones of Shirdi, for they could easily kiss the feet of holy Sai Baba and receive the dust from his feet on their heads. Shirdi became, for us devotees, another Pandharpur, Jagannath, Dwarka, Banaras, Kashi, Rameshwar, Nasik, Trimbakeshwar, Ujjain, and Mahabaleshwar Gokarna. Contact with Sai Baba and Shirdi was like our Veda and Tantra, as it calmed our consciousness of the world and rendered self-realization easy. The darshan of Sri Sai was our yoga, sadhana, and speaking to him destroyed our sins. Shampooing his legs was our bath in the Triveni Prayag, and drinking the holy Golipuva's dictum. An old devotee named Golipuva, who was about 95 years old at the time, was a devotee of Pandharpur Maharaj. He spent 8 months every year at Pandharpur and for 4 months, July to November, on the banks of the Ganges. He had a mule to carry his luggage and a disciple as his companion. Every year he made his pilgrimage to Pandharpur and came to Shirdi to see Sai Baba, whom he loved greatly. He used to stare at Baba and say, "This is Pandar Harinath, Vittal incarnate, the merciful Lord of the poor and helpless." Golibova was a devotee of Vithoba and had made many trips to Pandharpur and testified that Sai Baba was indeed Pandharinath incarnate. Vittal himself appears. Sai Baba was very fond of remembering and singing God's name. He always said the words Allah Malik, God is our soul master. And in his presence made others sing God's name continuously, day and night for 7 days. This is called Namasaptaha. Once he asked Kaka Sahib Dixit to perform the Namastapaha. Kaka Sahib replied that he would do it, provided he was assured that Vittal would appear at the end of the 7th day. Baba, placing his hand on Kaka Sahib's chest, assured him that Vittal would certainly appear, but that the devotee must be earnest and devout. He then said, Dankapuri, Thakur, of Thakurnath, the Pandari of Vittal, the Dwarka of Ranchod, Krishna, is here, Shirdi. One need not go far to see Dwarka. Will Vittal come here for some other place? He is here only when the devotees is bursting with love and devotion. Will Vittal manifest himself here, Shirdi? After the Saptaha was over, Vittal manifested himself in the following month. Kaka Sahib Dixit was meditating after his bath and saw Vittal in a vision. When he went at noon to receive Baba's darshan, Baba asked him, "Did Vittal Patil come? Did you see him? He is a very truant fellow. Catch him firmly, otherwise he will escape." This happened in the morning, and at noon there was another Vittal darshan. A hawker came there to sell pictures of Vithoba. This picture exactly matched the figure that appeared in Kaka Sahib's vision. On seeing this and remembering Baba's words, Kaka Sahib Dixit was quite surprised and delighted. He bought a picture of Vithoba and placed it in his shrine for worship. Bhagwantrao Kshisagar story. Baba's fondness for Vittal worship is illustrated in the Bhagwantrao Kshisagar story. Bhagwantrao's father was a devotee of Vithoba and used to go on annual trips to Pandharpur. He also worshipped an image of Vithoba at home. After his death, his son stopped everything, the trips, the worship, and the Shraddha ceremony. When Bhagwantrao came to Shirdi, Baba, who remembered his father, at once said, "His father was my friend, so I dragged him, the son, here." He never offered Naivedya, an offering of food, and so he starved Vittal and me. So I brought him here. I shall change him now and set him to worship. Ganu's bath in Prayag. Hindus believe that our bath in the holy waters of Prayag, where the Ganga and Sai Baba's story is very nourishing. The first many thousands of pilgrims go there to have a sacred bath. Das Ganu once wanted to go to Prayag for a bath and came to Baba to get his permission to leave. Baba refused. "It is not necessary to go so far. Our Prayag is here, trust me." Then, When Das Ganu placed his head on Baba's feet, out flowed streams of Ganges and Yamuna water, a stream from each of Baba's feet. Seeing this miracle, Das Ganu was overwhelmed with his feelings of love and adoration, and his eyes were full of tears. He felt inspired, and his speech burst forth into song in praise of Baba and his Leelas. The Immaculate Conception of Sai Baba and his first advent in Shirdi. Nobody knew the parents, date of birth, or place of birth of Sai Baba. Many inquiries were made and many questions were put to Baba and others regarding these matters, but no satisfactory answers have been yet obtained. We know nothing about these matters. Namdev and Kabir were not born like ordinary mortals. They were found as infants. Namdev was found on the banks of the Bhimrati river by Gonei, and Kabir on the banks of the Bhagirathi river. Sai Baba's story was similar. He first manifested himself as a 16-year-old boy under a neem tree in Shirdi for the sake of his devotees. Even back then he seemed to be full of knowledge of the Brahman. He had no desire of worldly objects even in his dreams. He had kicked out Maya and Mukti. Deliverance was serving at his feet. An old woman in Shirdi described him thus: a young lad, fair, smart, and very handsome. He was first seen under the neem tree seated in an asana. The people of the village were wonderstruck to see such a young boy practicing hard penance, with no regard for the heat or cold. By day he associated with none, and by night he wasn't afraid of anybody. People wondered where this young chap had turned up from. His form and features were so beautiful that mere look endeared him to everyone. He did not go to anybody's door and always sat near the neem tree. Outwardly, he looked very young, but through his actions he was really great soul. He was the embodiment of dispassion and was an enigma to everyone. One day, it so happened that God Khandoba possessed the body of a devotee, and people asked him, Dev, please tell us whose son this boy is and where he came from. God Khandoba asked them to bring a spade and dig in a particular place. When it was dug, bricks were found underneath flat stone. When the stone was removed, a corridor led to a cellar where cow-mouth shaped structures, wooden boards, and necklaces were seen. God Khandoba said, this lad practiced penance here for 12 years. Then people began to question the lad about this. He put them off the scent by telling them that it was his guru's holy resting place and requested them to guard it well. The people then closed the corridor just as they had found it. As Ashwatha and Audumbar trees are held sacred, Baba regarded this neem tree equally sacred and loved it the most. Mahalasapati and other Shirdi devotees regarded this site as the final resting place of Baba, Guru, and prostrated before it. The three Vadas, the land with the neem tree and the land that surrounded it, was bought by Mr. Hari Vinayak Sathe, and on this site a big building named Sathe's Vada was built. This Vada was initially the sole resting place for pilgrims. A raised platform was built around the neem tree and lofts with steps were constructed. Under the steps there is a niche facing south, and devotees sit on the platform facing the north. It is believed that if a devotee burns incense there on Thursday and Friday evenings, by God's grace, they will always be happy. This Vada was old and needed repairs. The necessary repairs, additions and alterations have now been made by the Sai Sanstha. Then, after a few years, another Vada, Dikshit's Vada, was constructed. Kaka Sahib Dikshit, a solicitor from Bombay, had gone to England. He had injured his leg in an accident there. The injury could not be gotten rid by any means. Nana Sahib Chandorkar advised him to try Sai Baba. So he saw Sai Baba in 1909 and requested him to cure the lameness of his mind rather than that of his leg. He was so pleased with the darshan of Sai Baba that he decided to reside in Shirdi. So he built a Vada for himself and other devotees. The foundation of this building was laid on the 10th of December, 1910. On this day, Two other important events took place. Mr. Dada Sahib Karpade was given permission to return home, and the night time Aarti in the Chowdi commenced. The Vada was completed and was inhabited on the Ram Navami day in 1911 with due rites and formalities. Another Vada, palatial mansion, was constructed by the famous millionaire from Nagpur, Mr. Booty. Lots of money was spent on this building, but the amount was well utilized as Sai Baba's body rests in the Vada, which is now called the Samadhi Mandir. The site of this mandir formerly had a garden which was watered and looked after by Baba. Three Vadas thus sprang up, where there were none formerly. Of these, Saty's Vada was the most useful to everyone in the early days. The story of the garden, attended to by Sai Baba with the help of Vaman Tatya, and Sai Baba's temporary absence from Shirdi. His return to Shirdi with the marriage party of Chand Patil, the company of Devidas, Janki Das, and Gangagir, Baba's wrestling match with Mohsin Tamboli, his life in the masjid, his love for Mr. Dengale and other devotees, and a few other incidents will be described in the other chapter. Bow to Shri Sai, peace be to all.